Do you know Georgia has a lot of gold in it, and a lot of gold was mined in Georgia? Hey, if you're interested in finding places to get your own gold in the state of Georgia, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Now, the truth is, there have been really huge amounts of gold from Georgia. It's produced probably close to 1 million ounces of gold, which is a lot, but a lot of it came from one small area around Dahlonega and Lumpkin County, White County, and parts of Cherokee County. And because there was so much gold there, basically this was the first gold rush in the entire United States. And the original discoveries of gold in the southeastern U.S. weren't in Georgia. Actually, the first gold was found in North Carolina in 1799. But through the early 1800s, there was a lot of discoveries in North and South Carolina and down into Georgia. And by 1823, there was some huge finds and some really, really rich areas found, like I say, around Dahlonega and in that part of the state, that it was just so rich. And people heard stories and they came a-running. And there's still good gold there to be found. In fact, they figured that during that first rush in, I think it was 1823, that they had upwards of 10,000 folks show up to get their share of the gold. Well, like I say, there's still good gold there. There's a lot of opportunities, and we will get into that. But let's take a look at some of the gold from Georgia so that you can get a feel of what's been found there.
Here's a super nice nugget from Georgia, and this thing actually weighs a little more than an ounce, although it's got some quartz and other rock in it, so it's less than an ounce of gold. But still, this is an amazing find and worth at least $3,000 at today's prices, probably closer to $3,500. This piece, with less rock involved, is actually a little over half an ounce. So, this is maybe on the order of $2,500. So you can see that Georgia does produce some nice coarse gold. Of course, not all the gold is that large. This is a little bit smaller, but still good-sized flakes. And it's from the Crescent mine, and they actually sell bags of pay dirt, which is what you see in the background there, is the bags of pay dirt that they sell if you're interested in panning for your own gold. Here's 3 nice nuggets from the Loud Mine. The Lost Dustman's Mining Association, which is part of the GPAA, has a special property there for their members there in Georgia called the Loud Mine, and it produces some nice gold nuggets. Of course, only the members of that group get to go on that property. Here are 4 Dahlonega area nuggets that total about a quarter ounce in weight. Today's price, that's $1,000. The point is, of course, there's no doubt that Georgia produces small dust and small flakes and that kind of stuff. But I just want to point out with these pictures that Georgia also produces some nice nuggets well worth having. In addition to producing some really good gold from placer deposits from the gravels, they also have a number of hard rock mines in Georgia, quite a few in that Dahlonega area, and the quartz there has been producing some really nice specimens of gold on quartz like this one. Some of the quartz is really rich, which makes sense because it's the quartz veins that gave rise to the rich placers, so they're the source, so they're going to be rich too. And through the latter half of the 1800s, there was quite a bit of hard rock underground mining going on there. One of the things about rich specimens of gold quartz like this is that if processed in placer gravels, it goes right through any sluice box because while the gold is super heavy, the whole mass with the quartz is pretty light, and the whole mass is really not that much heavier than an average rock, and so it goes right through a sluice box. And the same thing is stuff like this got missed in the old tailings piles around the old mines, but they really show up on metal detectors. A metal detector would see this and it would just scream. So, sometimes around old mines in the tailings piles, whether it's hard rock tailings piles or placer tailings piles, can be really great places to check with your metal detector.
Most of the gold in the state of Georgia comes from the northern third of the state, where there are a series of belts of metamorphic rocks, of basically schists and gneiss, rocks that have been tightly folded. And then there's intrusions of various dike rocks, and the gold's often associated with these dike rock intrusions along these belts in the northern third or so of the state. Now, we talked a little bit about the geology, but let me show you some maps and kind of explain further, why does the gold kind of come through there, the gold-bearing regions at an angle like that? Let's take a look at some maps and I'll show you. That's the way the rocks line up. Let's take a look.
Now, this is a geology map of the state of Georgia, and I'm not trying to get into super detail here, but the lower half or lower third of the state, 2/3 of the state, with the light green and the yellow and the brownish, down to the coast, that part of the state is flat or flatter, and generally flatter. And the more mountainous part of the state is the northern part. And you can see that the rocks kind of line up, tilting from the northeast to the southwest in that mountainous part. And that's just how the rocks are, that basically they line up perpendicular to the direction of the pressure that formed that uplifted the mountains. This is a map of the gold-bearing rocks in Georgia, and they're marked in red. And you can see there's one really long one and a second almost as long, and then a number of smaller ones scattered through that northern part of the state. And you can see that they do angle from northeast to southwest. And most of these, the main one is in Lumpkin and White County. Let me show you. So I've circled in black this Lumpkin, Whites County area, and you can see the line of red there is a little bit thicker, and this was the really rich area that inspired the gold rush. It was so rich that thousands of people flocked to that area because they heard stories about the great gold finds that were there. And believe me, there was some really amazing amount of gold being found in that area. Now, the other lines that are gold bearing through there throughout the northern part of the state, there's gold there too, and then some of them may have some pretty decent gold deposits, but the really super rich stuff was that area around Dahlonega in Lumpkin and White counties.
Now, the early day mining in Georgia was a lot like it is in a lot of other places. People found placer in the streams first, and they worked the placers because there was good gold there. But as time went on, they started digging into the placers and maybe finding some of the source quartz veins that gave rise to that placer gold, because the placer is formed when the original host quartz veins break down and the gold that's in them gets eroded out and put into streams and stuff. And so after a period of more placer mining, then the lode mining started to take over, and Georgia had some really rich lode mines. Let's take a little bit of a look at that history and talk about the placer and lode mining techniques that the old timers used that yielded so much gold. In fact, it yielded so much gold that they made a mint there to print up all the gold coins from all the gold that was being found in that Dahlonega area. There was a Dahlonega mint. So let's take a look at that and look at the history and talk a little about that a little bit more.
Like I say, the early day mining was pretty much just done along the streams, panning and picking and maybe running a sluice or something like that. But they quickly upgraded and got into more productive types of modes. They learned to take streams of water under pressure and literally wash away the gravels into their sluice boxes. And doing this was a lot more efficient and more productive than, a few guys with shovels and picks and that sort of thing. The stream of water could wash away huge amounts of gravel in just a day. And so they developed these methods and were more productive for a while. But there's only so much of this type of ground that can be worked, and within a couple of decades, they'd really process the best of the placer ground, the easiest to work, the stuff that they could get with this pressurized water and wash into their sluice boxes. And so they began to look at the sources of the gold, the hard rock veins that are in the mountain. And they put in adits and shafts and tunnels and began to chase the veins into the mountain and underground, because some of the veins were pretty rich. When they were mining quartz veins with gold like this, they were making a lot of money. And as they continued to extract the profitable gold-rich ore, they developed some very significant mining operations like this one, the Consolidated Mine. And the big building more toward the left in the back, that was their mill. That was where they crushed the rock up and extracted the gold from the gold quartz ore. And this is what the inside of that mill building looked like. It was a series a series of batteries of stamp mills. And basically these are heavy steel rods that weigh 1,000 pounds and more that are lifted up and dropped on the ore by gravity. And the force of that heavy weight dropping on the ore would crush the rock up, and then they would process it to extract the gold from the crushed quartz rock.
Now, we've talked about some of the main counties that have yielded the most gold, like I say, Lumpkin, Whites, and part of Cherokee. They have yielded huge amounts of gold. But actually, the truth is, there's been a lot of other counties that have yielded lesser amounts of gold in Georgia. Also, but in the same general part of the state, the same northern part of the state. Now, one of the things about accessing these places that have gold is that in the southeast states, whether it's Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, even extending even farther into some of the other adjoining states that have gold, in that part of the country, really the vast majority of the land is held in private property. Yes, there are national forests and some other things, and state parks, but in state parks they usually don't allow you to pan even a simple gold pan is verboten. So, but access can be a problem. And I've talked to people who prospect in that area, and they say, "Yup, Chris, that's a big deal. Is the access to gold-bearing ground?" And it's so different from here in the West, where like Nevada, where I live, is like 75%, something like that, maybe 80% public land. And so, you can drive out across some area and, go, and there's not private property saying, private property, keep out. And so the issue of access is a real thing in Georgia and also adjoining states. And so this is what I recommend to people. Seriously consider joining a club. There's various clubs that, they will actually lease ground from people that's good gold bearing ground that you can go out as a member of the club and go prospecting, go panning or sluicing or metal detecting. And so you have these opportunities by joining a club. So I encourage you to do that. Now, if you have some kind of special access, somebody who's got land and is your old buddy and you got permission, hey, you're in great shape. But that doesn't work for everybody. And for more people than not, joining a club is really a great thing. The GPA is a great outfit, and I've had friends that are part of the GPA organization, and there's some good opportunities. Let me talk more about that.
So the GPAA stands for the Gold Prospectors Association of America, and there's a number of chapters in Georgia, including the South Georgia Mining Association, which holds meetings at a gold-bearing claim area near Buchanan. They meet from March to November when the weather's decent. There's the Weekend Gold Miners that has properties near Cleveland and Aurora. And there's also the Augusta Gold Club, which, while based in Augusta, has interests all throughout Georgia and the Southeast. And then, of course, there's also the Lost Dutchman Mining Association, which is part of the GPAA, but not directly. It's a separate organization. So the GPAA has these clubs that are members of it, but there's this separate Lost Dutchman Mining Association, which is a GPAA plus kind of thing, and it's not cheap to join the LDMA, the Lost Dutchman, but they have a special area for prospectors at the Loudmine camp in Georgia. So there's a lot of opportunities in Georgia, and joining one of these clubs can really be something that opens up areas to prospect for a lot of prospectors. Now, these clubs have web pages, and you can search on Google and find their web pages and take a look and find more information about them.
Now, wherever you are in Georgia, whatever kind of prospecting you're doing, whether it's panning or sluicing, metal detecting, whatever you're doing, hard rock even, there's a skill of it. And, I tell people that owning a voltmeter to read voltage doesn't make you a journeyman electrician that you could wire anything and, do whatever you want with electricity. It's the knowledge that makes the difference for a good electrician. And the same thing with plumbers and other trades. Gold prospecting is like a trade that way. And owning a good piece of equipment, it's a good start. But if you want to be successful, you need the knowledge, just like having a voltmeter. That's good, but it's not enough to make you an electrician. So I wrote a book called Fistful of Gold, and I called it that because it's what I want you to find. I want you to go out and find for yourself, Fistful of Gold. And the book imparts to you my skills. It's a big encyclopedia-like thing that has a lot of information on it. And honestly, the information goes from beginner level through mid-level to even some pretty more advanced kinds of topics. And I think that it'll make the difference for success, whether you're finding gold or not, the knowledge you have, and the book has the knowledge you need to know. And I also have partnered with an outfit called High Plains Prospectors, and they're a full-line mail-order equipment dealer. They sell everything from a simple plastic gold pan all the way up to a high-dollar metal detector and everything in between, of course, including my book. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my book and about High Plains right now. This is my book, Fistful of Gold. And like I say, it's an encyclopedia of prospecting. And, if you want to go out and find your own nuggets, you want to go find your own gold, you want to be successful, well, it's about what you know. The guys who are finding gold, they have a knowledge. It's a skill. I sometimes compare it to like being an electrician. Just buying a voltmeter at Home Depot doesn't make you a journeyman electrician. And having a sluice box or a metal detector or gold pan doesn't make you a successful prospector. It's about what you know, right? And that's why I wrote this book. Like I say, it's an encyclopedia. It has stuff that really is for beginners. It has stuff that's for mid-level guys that have learned the basics and want to learn more. And it has even some more advanced things for guys that have some experience but want to learn even more. And I've actually run into people in the field where they tell me something and I say, well, that's a pretty advanced concept. Where'd you learn that? And then they said, I read your book. So, it has a real high rating on Amazon, and it's available either from Amazon or from High Plains. Now, High Plains Prospectors, they're an outfit that's a mail order prospecting equipment dealer. They have everything you can imagine from, a simple gold pan through basic metal detectors all the way to high-end metal detectors and other stuff. If you need it for the prospecting games, High Plains has it. And you can get a discount code with them. If you order something from them, use the discount code Chris Ralph. It's CHRISRALPH in all caps, no space in between Chris and Ralph. And you can get a discount off of what you're buying from them. And then they have my book. You can get my book from them. And so they're really great guys, and I've dealt with them for a while, and I'm happy to recommend them because, like I say, they're good dudes. So if you want to learn more about prospecting, consider my book, Fistful of Gold. And be sure to take a look at my YouTube episodes. I've got lots of videos and lots of information on YouTube. And, I oftentimes get people say, hey, Chris, why don't you make a video on XYZ, right? And it's like 90% of the time, it's like, I already have a video on XYZ. Take a look. And so if you're interested, look at my back catalog of videos because there's a lot of good information there. And we'll see you in the next video.